Hello everyone, myself Vaibhav. The Euro USD has now entered the consolidation phase and I think the underlying bias is going to be slightly bearish. So in today's session of Market Movers, we will see how these changing circumstances are going to impact our trading strategies and what we can do to figure out the optimum entry and exit points in these dynamic markets. So we will see the technical analysis for the Euro USD. Along with that, we will also consider the technical aspects for the gold. Before that, we will also see what are the data points which are having an impact across the world market in today's session. If we consider the equity segment, the equity markets have been in good shape and even in today's session, the undertone has been positive with gains of around half a percentage point in major equity indices. And as of now, the US equity indices futures are also trading higher, and by the time the trading resumes, we are expecting some gains and even incremental gains in the US session. So we might see the positive outlook continuing, and these bullish sentiments are likely to persist. Of course, this is being driven by the fundamental factors, and as a result of that, we have more chances of the continuation of this upward trajectory than any change in near future. On the data docket, there isn't much of the major data releases to cover for. Earlier in the day, we got this Westpac consumer confidence data for the Australia, and in the month of November, the Westpac consumer confidence index has risen to 107.7 compared to the prior reading of 105, resulting in the growth of 2.5 percentage point. And that means the people in Australia are feeling more confident compared to the prior month. And I think Australia has been one of the sweet spot in terms of the impact of the coronavirus pandemic, and Australia has managed better than many other countries, and that is also one of the factor why we are seeing the consumer confidence rising in the month of November compared to the October. Now let's shift our attention to the technical aspects. First, we will see the technical analysis for the Euro USD, and then I will also take a look on the gold and what are the possibilities in the gold moving forward. Let's start with the Euro USD's technical outlook. This is the daily time frame chart, and here, as you can see, the consolidation phase between 1.16 and to 1.19 is not new. Last time around, also we saw the sharp deceleration setting in after the Euro USD failed to cross and sustain above 1.20, and eventually we saw the Euro USD falling towards 1.16. This time around also the situation is not really that different. Here we saw this decline in the early November and then this sharp rise which eventually took the Euro USD towards 1.19, and as the things stand, I think now this phase swing high has been made and it's time again we focus on the lower side, and I'm anticipating that this decline in the Euro USD valuation is going to take the Euro USD much further, and we can even revisit the prior swing lows in coming sessions. If you see the ATR of course remains elevated as we saw these sharp moves in Euro USD in this week, and as a result of that, we have to keep our stop losses and the target pricing accordingly while keeping in mind the increased volatility. So coming to the lower time frame chart, here we have strong resistance zone in place around 1.81 now, and in today's session the Euro USD has broken below it and now heading toward the central pivot point of this month's pivot point series. Of course, the expectations are that we might see some sort of consolidation happening after the Euro USD reaches this immediate support zone. Right now, it is not really far. It's getting pretty close, and this price level of around 1.175 is like caught in between the support and the resistance, and the underlying momentum is also bit bearish, as you can infer from my title of today's session. So looking ahead, I feel that it will be better for us to look for the short selling opportunities rather than trying to get for the buy trades in the Euro USD, and in due course of time, eventually after the consolidation, we will be getting the buy side trades as well. Coming to the pinpointing the entry point, I think if we were to go short in the Euro USD, then this price zone around prior swing lows and then this time around prior swing highs is going to be of much interest for the traders. We have this resistance in place around 1.182 to 1.184. We have this confluence zone of 50 and 100 SMA, as well as if we consider the prior price action. The Euro USD has remained or turned lower after getting closer to these level, and this time around also the similar story is unfolding, and I think if we see some sort of correction which eventually takes the Euro USD back towards 1.180 to 1.179 should be an opportunity to go for the short sale trades. But of course we have to watch out for the stop loss and the target levels, and I think if we are getting involved anywhere around 1.182 to 1.183 with possible stop loss coming in around 1.18 6 or a little beyond that, I think the stop loss around 1.187 would be good. But as I said, these are not really normal times, and as a result of that, the stop loss is going to be a bit wider. And if we want the stop loss to be good enough, then I think we will have to keep the stop loss higher, and because of that, we will have the risk of around 40 to 50 pips. And at the same time, if we do get the entry, then for us the next target is going to be around 1.17, and that is going to open up the possibilities for the Euro USD bears. And I think from risk reward ratio also, it does make sense to look for or to continue to look for these trading opportunities emerging in the Euro USD. Now let's see what's happening in the gold. Gold also nosedived almost close to 5 percentage point after the Pfizer's vaccine results were released. These are initial findings, not comprehensive report. So we have to take it for what it is, not what it is not. So be careful with that. Now, in terms of the USD, the gold is losing some sheen, and we saw this. In just two sessions back, here we saw the gold receding after getting and trying to get past 1950 USD per ounce, and then this decline pushed the gold lower, and this time around it is indeed consolidating closer to this support area. But it will be interesting to see if it is going to hold or not, and I think my personal bet is that it is not really likely to hold given the magnitude of this decline, and eventually the gold is likely to go much lower. And coming to the lower time frame charts like 4 hourly, I think this central pivot point around 1.1, sorry, the 1900 USD per ounce is good enough to be used as the crucial marker. And as is the traditional belief, the price action trading above central pivot point would be an interesting development, as we have the price action right now which is well below the central pivot point. And if we want to minimize our losses, I think it will be more prudent to rely on this central pivot point as our immediate marker zone. So as long as price is below it, we can be fairly confident of going short in the gold closer to the US dollar 1990 to US dollar 1900. And on the higher side, the stop loss around US dollar 1910 or US dollar 1915 should be good enough. So for a risk of around 40 points, we will have to kind of make sure that there is enough room on the lower side to gold to slide and get toward its target zone. So we will have to be careful with that as well. Now coming to the hourly chart, we have this confluence zone of 50, 100 and 200 SMAs around this US dollar 1900 level, and it will be interesting to see how the situation will evolve and whether the gold will be cross above again this 200 SMA or it is all going to go downhill from the current valuations. And as I said, we have these multiple factors. Along with these three SMAs, we have these price action swing low where the last consolidation had taken place, and now that price action area is likely to offer resistance, and that's what we are seeing precisely here. We saw this recovery in the gold after making low closer to the US dollar 1850, but it hasn't really been sustained, and in due course of time the gold is likely to drop further even below this immediate swing low. So that's it from my side for today's session. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, you can write it in the comment section and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Before I sign off, I would also like to remind of the risks associated with trading in the financial instrument, and don't forget to subscribe for the channel. Goodbye.